lot of people are having a lot of opinions and a lot of thoughts on transgender. It's kind of a public conversation before. Some of you have been watching these videos longer than others, and there's these little spikes of interest, now and then when transgender people are in the spotlight. Laverne Cox is another celebrity that's been doing amazing work, educating and bringing awareness to the issues of trans women of color. Um, she's been going to college campuses and talking about being transgender and the experience and these different issues that face this group. Caitlyn Jenner has also, recently had some really intimate narratives in the media, sharing her story, nervously coming out. Her her process right now, what she's going through, is definitely a step in the way of this whole coming out thing. Like, her experience reflects a time when you're still kind of nervous and shy and not sure if you can fully express. Like, if you watch that first hour-long video, I think it was, or hour-long interview that she had on 60 Minutes, she definitely said some things coming from a place of not being fully comfortable with herself. I mean, she was going by her male name, and said things that she was feeling, that she experienced, that reflected the oppression that trans people experience in the West. So that was interesting to watch, and kind of at times want to disagree with her a little bit, but at the same time fully relating to that story, maybe having done the same exact thing myself. There's this interview that I do with my parents, and my mom says, "Well, you didn't say that I had to use male pronouns when you told me you were a man, so that's why I call you she still. Sorry if that bothers you." And then I was like, how do people hear you say that you're a man or a woman but then use the opposite pronouns? How does that happen? Well, it's because a lot of times when we come out, we don't think we deserve it, or we don't push for that enough. It's interesting. Anyway, or we're just embarrassed. It's embarrassing coming out. It's embarrassing saying this thing that people have a hard time believing. So then you have a hard time believing it. Anyway, it's the Bruce Jenner story has evolved to this next step where she has these beautiful pictures, in a magazine spread, Vanity Fair, and so it's what's interesting to me is hearing these various opinion pieces on it, these reaction pieces, because what it reflects is basically where we are at here in the United States, and this is an international magazine, so I'm sure it has some interesting commentaries in other countries. And if you have heard any of these commentaries or opinions that stuck out to you as being ignorant or hateful or particular, like super understanding, any of these reactions, or if you have links to different opinion pieces that you could put in the comment section, I'd be really interested to read those, just for like my own research purposes. Part of the reason I do all the interviews of everybody, including cisgender people, is because I want to see how people understand this. I want to see where we're at and hear this. So I like that it's becoming this public conversation that's happening now about these different theories people have for why people are trans, and how it's this very pitiful mental illness, and these people need help, and the thing is, people should have compassion for what trans people go through. That's real. Like, people should really be compassionate, because it's not easy, and you do struggle. So they got that right, but it's not an illness. It's not we're crazy. It's like we have a invisible sort of struggle that does have a treatment, that does involve the healthcare system. We don't need pills to make us comfortable with what we got. We need pills, or whatever. We need medication that makes us be able to represent ourselves, to be able to live our normal lives. So it's kind of one thing I see is that society has, when they go that route, it's the reverse answer. It's like their answer. Why don't you be more like us, all comfortable in your body? It's like, well, you're lucky that you have that, but we don't. So, and a lot of times, people that I know, because I'm trans and they're not trans, they're like, oh, here's a trans story of interest that you might like, and it's like I'm not, or here's a trans guy that you might relate to or something, but I have a trans community, and it's interesting to see what different trans material comes my way, but it's just as important to me, like, what there's like cis people just like me, cis guys out there that I like hearing their stories, and I don't I don't it's a little, when people only see me as trans but miss that I'm just it's more that I'm a man, like I don't like trans style, I like man style. People get put you kind of in one smaller box than it's, but it's a much bigger box. Being trans is a big box. But so those are some really important things I wanted to share, as well as get any things you've sort of heard or experiences you've had because of this thing being in the media so much lately. I wonder how long it will last. I wonder if it just will grow from here, this whole awareness and this thing, or if it will just kind of, it's an in thing to think about and talk about right now, and then it'll be gone. The Chaz Bono thing coming out did not last very long. Laverne Cox is in there strong, like sending such a strong, clear message, um, but it's still so quiet, and it's probably one of the most, the biggest, most important issues, and Aiden Dowling is coming to the forefront. Just because people really relate, the white sort of, and that's the thing with Bruce Jenner and a lot of people in the trans spotlight. It's because people are really relating to the normative style of their appearance and things, and I guess that's where the culture is at. Like, if people look really normal and really healthy and really beautiful, then we need to listen to them, because they must, have something really important to say. So there's a lot more that's gonna be worked into things in the future that society will come to understand, and it's fun because we are all a part of that. We're all educators. We're all, I always think of it as, every trans person out there is a specialist on this topic. No matter where you're at, if you're pre-transition or post-transition, everything that you have to say that you've experienced is very important for everyone in this world to understand. Let's keep telling our stories.